Get to know the babes behind the brand as they talk business, women supporting women, and share what it's really like to work in the fashion industry.
Welcome back.
Hello. Hi.
I'm Donnie. I am the founder and creative director of Privilege.
And it's Leah here, the operations manager.
And Katie, stock manager and queen of miscellaneous tasks.
And we have a lovely guest sitting with us who let's intro right now. So with 21 locations across the Lower Mainland, you've either seen their stores or have experienced their exceptional services. From praiseworthy products to world-class services, their spas and salons are your go-to beauty haven. Welcome Milajne from Eccotique and Zenkai.
Thank you. So happy to be here. Hi.
Happy to have you.
And clearly she's... Go.
Long time customer over here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was going to
so
say,
nice.
clearly she's got some trade secrets because she said she had no power and her hair looks stunning and she's all
I
put
don't
together.
know. I don't know.
I know. She's like glowing over there. Oh my goodness.
Thanks, ladies.
Well, Donnie, do you want to kick us off with your boss or bust?
Okay, this is not going to shock anybody. I'm going to take a bust. You guys can probably imagine what I'm like with things like library books.
Oh no.
I am I'm also like still in the middle of a move. So one of the things I haven't moved over is like boxes of books. That's like the last thing, right?
Who needs books?
I mean, Emerson's library teacher approaches me the other day and Emerson signed some books out, these two, back in October. I'm like, oh my God, like I don't have a clue where these books are.
You're like, I just bought 2 books.
And it really upsets me when it's okay, it'd be one thing is for me, but it's like when that trickles down into my kids' lives, like that disorganization, or maybe I'm like passing that on to them. So I had a moment where I was like, this is a bust, need to find these books, need to get them back. And I went and like smoothed it all over, but I still have not found the books. And I'm like, my whole life I've been struggling to get books back to the library. And I've already decided I just don't want to ever take anything out of the library, but with kids, they just do. So I'm going to need to figure this out this week.
If it makes you feel better, I've already had to pay for 2 lost library
You have?
books this year. Oh, so you just, but like my child comes from a split home. So I only have half control there. I know the book is not in my house, but I've still had to pay the school library for 2 books this year.
Okay, so I was like tempted to just pay for it today. And then I was like, no, I'm going to push myself to actually find these to solve the problem instead of like band-aiding the issue.
I mean, haven't found them yet though.
No.
They're
Pay
probably
the same amount of money.
Yeah. Well, it's actually the school library.
I know very well. Clearly.
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
No, you're not the only
Okay, I want to throw it back. Do you guys remember like when you'd on a Friday night go rent a video?
Oh yeah. We passed a video store in LA.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
that used to be like the fun thing to do.
Oh,
There is a real life video
like
store
you're really
in LA.
committing to the
I would get
experience.
clod hoppers or claw hoppers
Yes.
from Rogers.
Oh yeah. I remember
Oh
those
my
things.
God, this is like, it's so nostalgic.
So
Hunter
nostalgic.
probably doesn't even know what a video store is.
She doesn't. There's no way.
We should almost open up a video store just as like a hangout.
It's a fun place.
Like a
People would
coffee shop
come.
video store.
Yeah.
Everything's behind glass because it's like collectibles now.
Well, speaking of which, I actually cleaned out the office yesterday and found a massive bag of DVDs. I'm like, what do I do with these? I don't have one Blu-ray or
No.
DVD player in my house.
No.
That technology went really quickly.
So fast.
We evolved past that. But what do you do with them? It feels wasteful to
Think
throw
of
them
how
away.
much money you spent on like Blu-ray DVDs.
I'm going to ship them to that video
man.
store. How about that? Ship them to that video
Ship
store in
them
LA.
to the
They'll
one in
probably
LA.
appreciate that.
They would love it.
All right, Leah, what's yours?
I'm taking a boss for us. It actually kind of piggybacks on your comment on cleaning out the office, but that
Yeah.
is a huge boss on your part.
Yeah, that's very
You should
true.
have taken a boss.
Yes.
Another boss, and I will shout out Allie and Kate also, because we sorted through a ton of our samples and have these amazing, like Allie hand-selected pieces to pair together for these
this is a
sample
good one.
packs. Although I just looked at the air date of the podcast and it's end of May. So this is you will have already bought your sample pack by then.
But if there's a lot, maybe there are still some.
There are some amazing samples. All of the staff were looking at it and we're all like, we want to buy this all. It's such good product.
they're
It's
great
like the
bundles.
same product we're selling. You're getting like 2 or 3 pieces in a pack for like $60 or whatever we're selling them for. Anyhow, Allie was like putting the cutest stacks together. I was like, that's a great stack. I love that one too. I'm like, I want to buy these all now.
But they're bundled, and some of them are even like one of a kind because they're samples.
Some of them
right?
are totally one of a kind that you have never seen before. Some of them are the same products we're retailing for full retail in the stores, but it's a sample, so you're getting the same product for like a tenth of the price.
Yeah.
Would
you like to pick some up today?
I was like, I would like to see that, please.
Elaine has come to do some
shopping
shopping
first.
today.
Yeah, they're really, really good. I'm excited for us
It's a
to
good
get those
one,
out
Leah.
there.
What about you, Katie?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is a boss or bust. I'd like your guys' feedback on this. Kind of same situation Donnie's got going on here, but Riley starts breaking down last night. My 8-year-old daughter, she's got a French play. I never learned French. I can't help her, but the fact of the matter is she doesn't do her homework on a regular basis. I have to ask her. She's unprepared. So we spend a little bit of time this morning, and then on the way to school, she goes, oh, I was supposed to dress like a pig today because it's like the 3 little pigs. And I'm like, this is, and I was pretty hard on her this morning. Like I laid down the law.
It's a wake-up call for
she
her.
She was crying. As much as I'm a loving parent, there are the times when I break and I'm like, this is a learning experience.
Totally.
So it was already about not doing the homework, not being organized.
can't cover for
not
them.
cleaning your room. And I feel like you feel like, are these my traits going on to her? I feel guilty.
Yeah.
So, and she's in the back seat crying, and I'm like, so then I send her into school. She goes, well, are you gonna bring me clothes? And I'm like, no, like, you
think that's
forgot.
important.
And then I sent her, and I was like, go in, ask when your play is. Her play's after lunch. So I went and I got her clothes and I dropped them off. So is that a bust for going back on my word, or did she get it by sending her in and it's a surprise she got them? Like, it's also, she's only 8. Like, it's kind of my fault for not really digging about what.
That's an interesting point. Like, what do you guys think?
I think it's a boss because you got your point across in the morning, and for her to have gone through the day would have probably been more traumatic than it would have been beneficial.
what I
Like
felt.
she probably got it in the morning.
Yeah.
But
Time will tell,
Yeah.
I think.
yeah.
If she got it. 'Cause
True.
You know what I think about when I was growing up, and I was walking home from school, like elementary school, by myself. My mom was a single mom. Her and my dad split up. I came home by myself, unlocked the door. I was doing these things at
I
like
was
8,
too.
9, 10
That's
years
true.
old. So it's like, are we sheltering our kids a little bit too
Definitely.
much? So it's
Definitely.
scary, right? So I'm not sure. I know my daughter, I've had those, like literally, I'm sure we could all, I have that experience as well, but yeah, some responsibility, but maybe she did learn a lesson. Every kid's different, right?
Hopefully that morning of not having her
Exactly.
costume was enough.
Totally.
That was my whole thing. I was like, you need to start stepping up a little bit more. Like, you're 8. Like, we're going to set an alarm. You're going to get up. Like, I shouldn't have to spend my morning running around trying to find your gym pants. Like,
Oh, I used to make my own lunches from like grade 1.
Yeah.
It was
see?
like,
I
you
know.
better find the
feel
bread and
like-
slap the jam on it if
And-
you want peanut butter and jam.
and then we had a conversation about like lazy adults and what they don't get in life and how they don't succeed. And it's like, I don't want to raise her like that. So I feel like I need to put my like feelings aside of trying to baby her and get her to grow up a little bit.
I'm struggling with that with Elias too, because naturally he's a very smart child. Like I can tell school is easy for him.
That's why it's so easy to get caught
So
away.
I notice these like lazy slip ups all the time because he doesn't really have to work hard to get through the curriculum. And it was report card day yesterday, and he actually, it was commented in there about him kind of just like picking up after himself. And I'm noticing things that are slipping. I just don't think he's working that hard. And it's funny because he got 5 out of 12 on his spelling test last week. And I was like, what is this, Elias? Like, this is terrible. Like, you didn't study, you didn't do anything, and you're not even doing okay. So like, you have to pull it together. Forgets his spelling all week, doesn't study for the next one. We know this next spelling test is coming up on Monday. Different words. I said, you didn't have your spelling this weekend. I'm just laying it out there right now. If you don't get at least 10 out of 12, and I didn't want to lay out a number, but I had to. I said, you didn't study. So if you think you can pull this off, fine by you. But if you don't get at least 10 out of 12, there's no video games for a week. Like, I'm just putting it out there. He gets 12 out of 12.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did you just decide to get 5 out of 12 last week and then just decide to get 12 out of 12 this week? Like, are you just mentally not committed at all?
Yeah. I have a son like that too. I mean, he's only in kindergarten, but I can see it already. Like math, like doing addition and multiplication, like simple numbers in kindergarten, like before he even started. And I know it's because I have a 9-year-old too, so he might hear her, but just on it, but then lazy. Like I just feel like sometimes lazy, and you have to push. I guess I can't let him sit back. It's not. I don't know. It's not acceptable to me. So
well, totally. And I think that we should let that resonate through our kids. Like at our standard of ourselves as adults, we should hold them to the same thing, because how do we expect them to magically change one day?
Exactly. They won't. And then we'll raise them when one day they get a job and they're falling apart because they don't know how to handle
they're not wearing the right clothes to the interview.
I think it's hard for me, especially this instance this morning, to put my foot down because I feel like it's part my fault. Like I'm not
your
setting her
bust.
up
I'm
for
just gonna
success.
say is a bit my boss, because Elias went to school with a bear T-shirt today. He was a bear in the presentation. They must be doing them together.
Oh, they must. So we don't even know. That's the horrible part. We don't even know. But I do know we weren't invited because there wasn't enough room. So we're not obliged to be there. But yeah, so I actually went. And the crappy thing is I don't live around here, so I had to go buy pig clothes. And
So what did you buy?
I just went to Old Navy and got like pink stuff.
Perfect.
But boss or bust, I don't know. I feel both ways. Anyway.
Milajne, where are you at this week? Boss or bust?
Oh, geez. I'd say, well, we had a really awesome meeting yesterday, so I'd say boss. We're just really getting on social media a little bit better for Eccotique and Zenkai, so just understanding that realm a little bit more. And we've been partnering with L'Oreal, the head of digital, and have been having conference calls with her every Monday morning. And it's just, it just teaches us a lot of things that you don't know unless you're a developer or, you know, an SEO expert and all that. I can't even go on because really I'm not a techie kind of person, but
And there's so much to know.
so much to know and so many people to ask. Are you a graphics specialist? Are you a digital specialist? Are you a videographer? Are you a SEO? It goes on forever.
The specialties there are so many.
So many.
You have to know exactly what you need,
Exactly.
and that's
and
hard.
roll with it.
Yeah.
I do know that I know none of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Clearly.
But I
Working
also
on it,
know that it's like a forever changing landscape.
is.
So even when you learn one thing, there's
Yes.
always something new, and it's
Totally.
changing so fast.
I agree. So yeah, anyways, it was inspiring yesterday, and just learning some things, and just figuring out how we can do better. Like in this day and age, as you guys know, running a business, it's how do you constantly reinvent yourself and do something that nobody else is doing, stay relevant, stay trendy, stay on top of what's going on, you know,
And
have
still
happy
stay true to
people.
who your business is at the core.
Exactly, and not veer too far away from that. So
I think
a
it's
hard
something
balance.
we relate on a lot, and I want to touch on later in the podcast, but it's like how to keep a beginner's mindset.
totally.
Because you can get so comfortable or confident in what you're doing well, but that can slip so fast.
It's so funny when I read that question, because one of the things my dad taught me in business when I was a teenager was walking into your store for the first time. Pretend you've never walked in, and every single person that comes to visit you that's never been to your location, ask them what they see wrong, because they always want to compliment, which is really nice, but it's like, thank you, but
What can we
what
do better?
can we do better? And I want that constructive feedback, and it's what I did all the time growing up and becoming a manager and managing my own people. And I just really feel like unless you give people constructive feedback, they'll never get better. So if everybody understands
great. That's
that
a
we're
great-
all working towards the same
That's
thing
the
to
quote.
get better. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Love it. Donnie, what's your weekly obsession?
Okay, this is a bit dark, but I'm going to put it out there right now. Leaving Neverland. The Michael Jackson, the story about the boys. Have you not?
Oh, you have to watch it. It's very hard to find now.
You're not alone. I haven't seen it either. I will explain, people. I had a very in-depth conversation with Ashley, founder of Smash and Tess. We spent a couple days together when we went to Calgary. And she outlined, basically, I don't even have to watch it. She went through every detail. But I followed the Michael Jackson court case like years back, before Hunter was born.
Oh, yeah.
And I went through and read the court transcripts, and I remember being really appalled at the things I was reading, and the people had come forward in the testimony. And obviously, it never ended up going to trial. It was settled. So it kind of, squashed. Exactly. But these men that have come forward now, it is a heartbreaking story. And I think it's so important for our generation. It's a continuation of, even on a much more damaging scale, there was the R. Kelly documentary that was released, which is like a continuation of the Me Too movement. And I just think it's terrifying and upsetting, and it's really hard to stomach. I think it's important for people to watch it, obviously, without your kids. I think we need to know the warning signs. We need to know how to protect our children and protect ourselves from people like that.
So scary.
And having the conversations with your kids, like, I don't think they're too young to have those conversations about.
They need to. You
stranger
need to
danger, tricky people. Like,
no, never too young.
I think it's also a reflection on like a bit of an immoral level of the way we like idolize celebrities and people. Like, it's just not, we're not supposed to do that. Like, biblically, it's wrong. It's on my moral compass, it's wrong. And you believe that just from that standpoint. But that's what made him get away with it for so long.
And money, because if you have money, you can shut people up, and then it's so sad. Like that,
it's so sad.
Awful. Somebody that people trust and
people that live with
look
that
up to,
every
for
day.
crying out loud, people are still playing his music and think he's
I will never play
amazing.
his music
No,
again.
no.
I will
neither,
never play his
clearly.
music again.
I did hear about it, but I just didn't know exactly what
and
it
it's
was
dark. Like, it's really hard to hear the story. I watched some
Stomach it,
YouTube
it's very disturbing documentary.
yeah, I think it's important that we talk about it and acknowledge it. Though there's people that are like lashing out against the men that have come forward, saying that they're out for fame or whatever, and kind of kiboshing their stories. I think that's really upsetting.
It's awful, but there's always that.
Yeah.
Though. There's always that when people are coming forward. It happens to everybody. I think people question, why now? Why'd you take so long? Why'd you take not long enough? I mean, there's never a good
Right.
when people
Well, I just think that's abuse.
right?
The documentary really lays out well, like, the grooming that Michael Jackson did to, like, the children and the parents and everything, and like how the victims like explained it, that was like, because it happened at such a young age, that was their normal, like that's what they thought love was. Like, they didn't know any different. They're too young to know any different. The parents would ask the children, like, are you okay? Right after they'd been sexually abused. Yeah, I'm okay, because they thought that was how Michael Jackson showed they loved them.
That is
So like I said before, like the conversations with your kids, like sometimes you need to be a little bit more vulgar than you'd want to with your kids to get the point across. But
one of the things I heard in that speech at that conference last week was be the first person your kids hear it from. They need to hear it from you first.
I agree.
You don't want somebody else introducing them to an idea.
Exactly.
You need to tell them what's there so that you can like be the formative standpoint.
Or like put them at ease, I guess, because my daughter went through the Momo thing for like 10 days. She didn't sleep for a week because she heard it at school. I hadn't known about it yet. I'm like, who's Momo, when she came home?
Right.
And she's like clearly extremely sensitive. Like even when I park somewhere where it says no parking or something, she's like freaking out about me not parking there.
Leah's a lot like that too.
This is so relatable for me.
It's just
I
like,
heard about Momo and didn't sleep.
Yeah, right? She didn't sleep
I
for a
feel
week.
her.
I was like, come on, Sienna, it's fine. And anyways, but to your point, if I had known about it in advance and I talked to her about it, I feel like I could have dodged a bit of a bullet for a week.
Yeah.
But anyways, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes they hear about it quicker than us.
Yeah. Leah, what about you?
Well, I'm going to take it a little bit lighter for us.
Great.
Especially since we're talking about some local businesses. I am obsessed with never going into a grocery store. I'm ordering from
Same.
Spud
You're hooked, eh?
all the time.
Oh.
All the darn time.
Isn't it
Like-
so much easier to be more intentional with your grocery shopping?
Okay, well, first of all, it's saving me a ton of money because I'm not walking through the grocery store starving,
Yeah.
being like, I need all these extra things. I'm ordering exactly what I need because I do my meal plan for the week and then I order what I need. Second of all, well, this should be the first of all, it's organic. So it's quality, local farmers, all organic. But they also have these amazing like pre-made meals and like packaged snacks that are actually good ingredients and they're all local. I'm obsessed
A
with
ton of
Spud.
dairy-free alternatives.
out.
Like they're going to be your top choice.
Tons of dairy-free alternatives. They also do sell meat. They're not vegan by any means, but they do offer both ends.
But I've introduced meat a little bit more, but it's hard to find places that are mindful about they're not raised with hormones or antibiotics, right? So
Spud's
there's-
all really good quality. Again, local farmers as much as possible. So you are supporting local. And they deliver to your door. Like, I'll answer the door in my sweats.
I have to check that out.
You'd
I
be
love it.
surprised what I answer the door wearing.
I went
That's
to the
fair.
grocery store for the first time because I've been doing online delivery as well
Yeah.
on the weekend. And I can tell you I spent double.
Oh,
easy.
easily.
I spent double.
I'll order my groceries and no joke, I can do like a full, well, not a full week because I don't count weekends, but like full 5 days of meals for like $80. Mind you, we have no children, so
Yeah.
it's a bit different.
Still.
But that's so
Still.
cheap.
Yeah.
If I go to the
Two
grocery
adults,
store,
like-
if I go to the
That's
grocery
a
store,
good
I'll be
price.
dropping $2.50.
Totally.
That's a great price.
So if anyone wants a $20 off code too, I'll pop one in the Facebook group.
That's good.
I think I've spent $80 on Skip already this week, and it's Tuesday.
Yeah, okay. From Spud, you could pre-order meals.
And
They're like
answered the
pre-done.
door in like a cheetah
You can answer the door in whatever the heck you
lingerie
want.
thing.
They will hand you your bin of food and say bye. It's the greatest thing ever.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'll pop a code into the Facebook group for anyone in the greater Vancouver area who wants to try it.
I'm
I'm
do it.
obsessed.
I'm like, I want the code.
I'll give you the code.
I want the
I'll
advance
give you
notice.
the code.
Totally, totally.
Katie, what's your weekly obsession?
My weekly obsession is mushrooms, which you'd never expect because I hate mushrooms. But if you're an avid listener, you've probably known that I've been sick for like 3 months because you hear it on every podcast. I ended up going to the naturopath for IV vitamin therapy because I just have absolutely no energy. And she was like, you need to start eating mushrooms. And I was like, really? Like thinking.
I'm surprised.
She meant the psychedelic ones, which she didn't. And I was like,
tell
I
me more.
absolutely hate mushrooms. She's like, don't worry. It's one of the biggest underestimated foods. First, it like has major anti-inflammatory properties. It destroys infectious microbes, slows down aging, helps regenerate nerve cells, helps like extremely boost your immune system. So anyone that's like sick and gets sick often and has a low immune system, there's 5, I'm not going to get into all of it, but there's like 5 certain mushrooms that they can compact into like a certain capsule. And I just take 2 capsules a day, and
Okay. Is this like a mushroom elixir? Like a powder?
it's well, I take it in capsule form, which is like a powder.
Yeah.
But you can eat these mushrooms. You can cook with them, like
What kind of mushrooms are they?
so turkey tail mushroom, tremella mushroom, maitake mushroom, shiitake mushroom, and cordyceps mushrooms are the 5 major ones for.
And do any of
healing.
them get you high?
No, unfortunately
Haven't even heard
not.
of half
Just
of them.
wondering.
Because she said I should take these. So, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't been taking them long, so I don't know the full effects of it yet. But she said, she's like, take this whole bottle. It'll probably take you through to like July. She's like, you can take the summer off because there's not as many viruses going around. But she's like, I would definitely start it again like end of August throughout the fall.
Have you guys heard? I used it as a current obsession one week. The Lion's Mane, it's by Four Sigmatic, the mushroom elixir.
Probably.
It's
same.
like a brain booster. So you can drink it with hot water. It's actually quite
Oh,
expensive.
you gave it to me before.
Yes, you can drink
I
it with hot
liked
water,
it.
but it has a bit of a mushroomy taste, but I just add a scoop to my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even really know the tech or the details behind it, but basically it says it eliminates brain fog. So I'm like, I'll do anything to eliminate brain fog.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
read up on mushrooms. There's a lot.
Wow.
They're really
Great answer.
beneficial.
Yeah.
Milajne, what's your weekly obsession?
Geez, right now I've changed my workout class. So with our trainer, and we're doing this new sculpting class that I'm really into right now. So yeah,
Cool.
it's been amazing. Just how you could be working out for so long and then you just switch it up and
You
everything
rediscover.
hurts like hell. So yeah, that is definitely on my list of obsessions right now.
What gym do you go to?
I go to Capitol Hill Fitness, so he trains out of there, and yeah, it's been awesome.
So you're feeling like pretty good, but
I'm
also
feeling
pretty
good.
sore?
Yes, good and sore.
Good and
which
bad
is
at the
good.
same-
Yeah, which is good and bad because it's a good feeling to be sore.
Yeah, it
like
is.
when you go a little too far and not being able to sit down is
Yeah.
tough.
My
for a couple
favorite is
days.
like stairs. If stairs hurt, I'm like, yes.
totally.
That's
right?
what
you know
I
you've done
want.
well if it hurts.
Or if it hurts, like lifting your water bottle.
exactly.
That's the
Katie and I
best.
did like a 20-minute workout, and I was sore for 2 days after.
Yeah, because we did
That
it
can
all
happen.
in the squat rack.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That'll do it.
That'll do it for
Donnie,
sure.
who's your boss babe crush of the week?
Okay, so I came in this morning, and I was like in tears over what I was seeing on social media. There's a local blogger. Her name is Jade Brittany, and I think everyone needs to go follow this girl right now because she's putting it all out there. She's going through something really traumatic, and she's got a sick little girl. And there's actually equally as inspiring. There's quite a few local companies that have like stepped up, and they're donating proceeds to her family. I don't know the whole story because I was just doing my detective work this morning on her
That's
account.
so funny. I was doing the same thing.
On her page?
It popped up on my feed, and then I just started looking into it.
I was watching her Insta stories. I was in tears. I can imagine going through what she's going through right now. She needs everybody's prayers and thoughts and support. And it's really, I can't imagine being in her situation and putting it out there. So I really admire her boldness and her honesty in the situation. And I think, I'm just sending the vibes out there that everything is going to be okay. And she's asking for prayers, and she's like showing the power of prayer, that her daughter's like rebounding in small ways. So I'm going to continue to follow, and I think everyone else should
Could
follow
you
along.
actually imagine though how hard that would be to like write a blog or even just like write a post
No.
when you're actually going through it and having those feelings? Like I don't think I could do it. I honestly don't think I could put words.
think I would
I think for
turn-
some people it would just be therapeutic too,
Yeah.
though.
I think
for
she's
sure.
getting
Depending how you process things.
I think it's nice that social media is being used for this, because I think she's getting so much support, which she obviously needs right now. The one thing that actually put me into tears on her social page was that she was talking about, she said, I have nobody right now. And she was just reaching out on Insta stories. And I could just tell that there was such an outpouring of support for her. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is what will do it.
And I noticed too, she was like different routes that the doctors are taking. Like she doesn't necessarily know about it. So she's like, if anybody knows about this, let me know, comment, direct message me.
She'll do she's just, she's at such a desperate stage right now. But her page is Jade Brittany. I'm actually going to pull that up.
The
and show her.
Jade Brittany blog, I believe.
But yeah, she
Hunter's
said this
confirming.
morning, she said that the doctor said that her infant is the sickest infant in British Columbia right now.
so crazy.
So my heart is just like all with her family right now. I can't imagine. She has 3 kids, and God, she's a hero. So
Yeah, shout out to her for sure. I'm keep following up Donnie with these really intense topics.
sorry, it's really serious today.
I'm gonna make it light again.
Okay.
We all know I'm obsessed with cooking. I've been really obsessing over a woman named Lisa Lynn. Her Instagram is Hello Lisa Lynn. All I'm gonna say is you have to go check out her page. Like the recipes she makes she does some really traditional Asian recipes. So she'll do like really cool pot stickers or like a pot sticker soup, but then she'll do like dumplings and breads, and
Oh yeah.
my mouth is like
Sounds
watering.
hard to make though. Like
No,
that
she
would be,
makes
like,
it look so easy. That's why I'm
that's the
obsessed,
tricky
because I
part.
want to learn to make like gyoza or dumplings. And I've been watching her. I'm like, it's so easy.
Oh, yeah.
The way she
It looks
folds.
so good.
Right?
I'm
Okay, just
looking
show
at
the
it right
table.
now.
Show the
It looks
table
so
because
good.
we need to just see this.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm gonna do it. I will do it, and I will post about it when I eventually do this because
Oh my
Send
goodness.
us
I'll send you
a
samples.
delivery set.
I was going to say, could you bring it
to
into
my
work when
door,
you do
and then
it?
you can wear your negligee
Totally.
while you answer.
Yes.
Oh my God, it looks delicious.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. Everyone needs to go follow at Hello Lisa Lynn. And she just makes it look so simple the way she like folds the dough together. I'm like, I could do that. And if someone makes something look easy, I am more inclined to want to try it. Because if I'm like, oh, that looks so complicated, like she's obviously really good at her craft. So then it gives me confidence trying to go in and make it. Oh yeah, little salad rolls and stuff. Anyhow.
I just like really enjoy different ethnicities of food. I feel like it's just so it's especially with like a healthy diet, it's easier to incorporate spices and flavors without maybe carbs or
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I really
love-
like peanut sauce.
I know.
I love exploring all the different types of foods. I'm with you on that one.
That's a good one.
Katie, who's your boss babe crush?
My boss babe crush this week is J-Lo.
Oh, because she just got engaged.
I was gonna
For the fourth time.
my God,
She
I
gives
love
me
her
such
right now.
hope that she could have, like, she's going to be on her fourth marriage.
yeah.
You've never even been married.
I've
Yeah,
been
at least you're
engaged
not on the-
twice,
Oh.
okay? That's not the best track record.
Okay.
Like,
You're
next
still ahead of 4 marriages.
time I get engaged, it'll be like third time's a charm.
Exactly.
Yeah, JLo's an endless boss.
Oh,
Yeah, like she's
the ring,
gorgeous. She's
too.
super talented. Her ring is bomb. Like it's
Yes.
massive.
I agree with you. She was mine for sure, just because of the way she leads her life too.
Yeah.
Like that's who I've been thinking about. She got engaged obviously, so it's been all over Instagram the last couple days. But just the way she leads her life, like she hasn't gone into the dark with drinking or drugs
Yeah.
or all this
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, she's in the best shape of her life. She looks amazing, and she's just putting it out there in such a positive way, right? So hopefully her fourth time.
And she doesn't
Fourth
like
time's a charm.
right?
she doesn't push her kids into the limelight or
No.
anything like. She seems
Yeah.
super normal
She
to me for
does.
having that much fame. She
agree.
seemed very grounded.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Milajne, who's your boss babe crush?
Well, it was gonna be.
J-Lo. It was
J-Lo.
It was
Oh.
gonna. Yes, it was gonna.
Well, you
be
can
J-Lo.
piggyback on that one.
You know what? Oh, geez. Well, I've been following this food blogger, I guess, too, Carlene Karst, and so I've
Oh,
been
yeah, I know Carlene.
watching her on Instagram. So that's been interesting because I'm not like vegan or I don't follow any kind of particular diet. But for me, it's just some of the stuff was resonating to, switch it up, change things, try some things.
Try
And
different
her
stuff.
pictures are really pretty on Instagram, and she just released a new book. So yeah, she's somebody I've been looking at, and she's local Vancouver girl.
I'm going to go stalk her a little bit.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, you'd like it.
I
You're
probably
foodie.
would.
Check
I
it
follow
out.
a lot of food
Yeah,
bloggers.
right?
Leah's
I
mad. She's
follow
like,
them,
how
but
did I not know about
Yeah.
this girl?
But you know what? The funny thing is I follow a lot of food people, and then I don't make any of it. Everybody's
That's
like,
me.
So have you made anything? Nope, I actually haven't. Sorry about that.
You're busy running your 21 stores.
Exactly.
So
I think we need to get Carlene on the podcast. She works with Gregory, my designer.
cool.
So we got to connect there.
There you go.
Okay, Donnie, what's one thing you're working on improving this week?
Well, I listened to the last podcast, and apparently I say like a lot. So I am currently working on not saying that.
It's a hard one.
It's a hard one.
Well, it's
a
hard when you're
habit, right?
talking a lot and you
a
have to
filler.
connect words somehow.
I thought there was something happening. You
I
laughed.
thought she was
it
gonna
at
say
me.
like.
I didn't.
One thing I'm working on improving, well, probably I say a lot as I'm hosting. I think it's really easy to question ourselves, and I'm really self-analytical and self-aware. So I just want to stop that a little bit. I think it is positive to be continuously evolving, but on the flip side, I really want to just start recognizing my value and knowing my value and being more secure in that, rather than always being on the flip side of like, I got to improve this and I got to improve that and do this and do that. And I'm going to pause for a second and just know my value for a minute.
I think you have to enjoy your life too. You can't like work on yourself constantly.
You have to be happy.
I feel like
Pretty darn happy.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel like I feel like as a very self-aware person as well, I feel like it can hurt you sometimes because you're just constantly being self-critical, right? So you need to like flip it to the positive.
Yeah.
Or those
That's a good
people
one.
that are out there saying that they're like on Instagram, saying that they're one way and then just beating themselves up behind the scenes.
Right.
Like I have a girlfriend that's like that. That's, you know, works out and she's like, you got to love yourself. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then we'll go out for coffee. And she's like putting herself down. I'm like, hey,
Yeah. Whoa. Pause.
whoa, take it easy.
Yeah.
You were just saying, and you posted all this stuff. You got to practice what you're putting out there, right? And
Yeah.
you know, be
Yeah.
happy with yourself because it can downward spiral quick if you
Oh,
let
yeah.
it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's an important one to recognize.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you working on, Katie?
Reducing and removing heavy metals from my life and my body.
How do we do that?
The 4 easiest ways is lemon water, cilantro, garlic, wild blueberries. Those are all
I'm writing this down.
and just like not buying canned pops, not drinking out of metal containers, stuff like just
BPA-free
being,
canned
honestly, it's
goods.
never been something that's been on my radar at all, ever, until I had the conversation with you about the cotton in between your toes. But like, honestly,
That's a conversation for another time.
and then I was talking to my girlfriend who is a cancer survivor, and she was telling me about how awful crowns are for your body and having them in your mouth. Obviously, way more in-depth conversation can be had about that, but like just being aware of it was not something that wasn't even on my radar.
My dentist has been going in and slowly, like I have like 4 more dentist appointments this spring because we're removing all the metal fillings.
Putting porcelain in.
Yeah. Luckily, some of them had issues, so we could sneak it through.
Yeah.
It's
healthcare and
crazy that
covered,
they
but
still put them in.
It's really
Yeah.
cheap, and a lot of plans will only cover that. And if you're paying cash for it, you might not be able to afford. It's almost double the price for porcelain.
I know, but
It's
it's like
so
such
crazy.
long-term effects, and it builds up over time, and they just don't come out.
Lots of people are just unaware though, like especially that's what one thing I'm so grateful for, like our mom Donnie, she put porcelain in our mouth. She didn't, I mean, it was at that time where it was like getting available, right?
Yes.
But like some people just are completely unaware that spending that extra money is,
It seems like it's a vanity issue,
yes,
right? It
And if
doesn't.
you got
but
them
it's
20 years ago, it wasn't necessarily a prevalent option. It
No,
was like, this
absolutely.
is the standard.
Now, are like things like swell bottles? I just said like twice, by the way. Are swell bottles like a threat? Does that come into our bodies?
I don't know for sure. I would assume that they would be
Yeah.
making them in a way that they weren't,
But
but we
you
would
don't
have to
know.
fact check that.
Do you
Thank
guys
you, Love Sweat Fitness, for the BPA-free
The
water
Triton
bottle I'm
water
drinking
bottle.
out of. Yeah.
But even like I've seen a lot of, I've been obsessed with kombuchas lately too, because I haven't been feeling well. There's a lot of canned ones out there. Like I will 100% of the time choose a glass bottle over a can,
for sure.
Absolutely.
right?
Point about swell though. I never.
Yeah,
thought
I didn't really think about that either. I have one, but I don't use it often. But my coffee cup is actually metal. Things to ponder. Milajne, what's one thing you're working on improving this week?
I feel like I'm always working on improving my patience. I have zero
Oh.
patience. Everybody knows that. So, yeah, it's a thing I work on all the time. I hate waiting. I hate when I want to do something. I want it now.
That's
I
a
don't
hard
want
thing
it-
to work on, though.
It's just like I try so hard to just, okay, you know what, take a step back. Or with kids too, right? Patience. So it's something that I'm conscious of that I work on, but it's a tough one. It's a tough
That's a
one.
really hard
'Cause
one.
it hits so many different things, patience.
Well, and it could be work, personal,
Exactly.
family.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. Waiting in line somewhere?
Yeah. So frustrating.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's talk more about you and your businesses. So, for our listeners who maybe happen to not be from the Lower Mainland and haven't heard of you, tell us a little bit about your businesses and yourself and
Sure.
What's going on?
I have 2 different brands under the Mega Hair family umbrella. So it's Eccotique Salons and Spas that we do salon services as well as spa services and carry boutique brands like Kerastase and Bumble and Dermalogica and Aveda and Glow Mineral Cosmetics. So that's Eccotique. And then we have Zenkai, that is our salon division of the company, and it's multi-brand. So we carry everything under the Mass umbrella for hair care and beauty, and we're also a full-service salon. So I started in 1996, as I was telling you girls. In October, I opened up our Eccotique brand, and it was after I had a trip to New York with my mom, my aunt, and my cousin, and saw Bliss spas were huge in like 94-ish, I think was the peak of their existence in New York, and I saw that being a huge trend. So I came back home and developed a business plan and talked to my dad about helping me get some financing, and I opened up Eccotique. In the meantime, he had the salon division of our company, because him and my mom were both hairstylists. And I did that on my own. I started Eccotique, and basically, from the ground up. It was interesting, like looking back on it.
How soon after your first location did you open up the next one?
It was 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was the pace after that?
So almost yearly until about 2004.
Did you foresee that, or did it just happen as it happened?
It just happened as it happened. I really didn't picture Eccotiques being 9 locations strong when I first started. I just thought, okay, we'll give it a try. And I mean, when I opened in Metrotown, it was only 3 spa rooms, and within 8 months I had to go back to our contractor and say, can we make this bigger? Because I took a space, half of it was behind me that was empty in the mall, and so we expanded like immediately into 8 rooms from 3. And at that time, like, if you can imagine, in 96 people were going in saying, what is a facial? Like, what do you do in the spa? And you talk about that.
It wasn't as common now then.
And I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but it's just crazy how things have evolved in that industry, and laterally too, like all these little offshoots, like, you know, nail bars and lash bars and waxing bars and bikini bars. And
well, it's definitely a trend today that we're seeing in full force, but you were a bit early on the accessible spa, really, right?
Sure. Yeah, we were the only accessible spa at that time.
Spas weren't easy to come by. You'd have to go for quite an extended period of time. Like, you're giving yourself a half day.
Yes.
You're spending quite a bit.
And usually at a hotel.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were definitely like on the trend, like on the early side of the trend.
Yes, which was so fun. It was really, really fun. It gave us the opportunity to experiment with a lot of different things and do a lot of things. And in that time when we first opened, our most popular service was a mud wrap. I mean, really, today a mud wrap is not that popular.
I remember going to like one of the first spa experiences I had, and they were like, "Do you want a mud wrap?" And I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
and
it was
why?
a big dramatic
I still
thing.
love a good mud wrap. Like, if I'm going to a spa for the day, not a quick service, like, sign me up for a mud wrap.
Yeah,
I like it.
But not my first service.
No.
Definitely.
No, I'd like an exfoliation before that and a massage, then the mud wrap.
yeah, exactly.
massage, facial.
All together, yeah, exactly.
So when was Zenkai born?
So Zenkai was kind of, it's a bit of a hybrid, because when my dad was expanding his salon business, every location he opened, he would name something different. So when I took over the company and he asked me to become the vice president in 2001, I believe it was, if my memory serves me correct, every salon was under a different name. So Zenkai was one of our brand names that opened in 98, and we decided to use that as our brand name because it just resonated with how we wanted it to look, and a Zenkai feeling in a spa and beauty. And so I slowly went around after I became the vice president, and we slowly renovated every single salon that we had at that time to bring it under the Zenkai umbrella, because it was impossible to market like 6 different salon names. And then of course we grew from there, because Zenkai's 13 locations today. So
Wow.
That expansion would be really fun.
it was so fun, so fun. And I mean, we did so much of it ourselves. Like, when I think about it, I was learning as I went. I've never like constructed a store before in my life, so it's, you know, dealing with contractors and all that kind of stuff before my husband came around and kind of started helping with that area, but yeah, you're learning as you go, everything. You're learning how to write manuals and how to train people, and it's all on your own, because it's not like you can go out and hire specialists in that field when you're a single operator trying to figure it out.
Do all of your locations have the full spa experience, or are some of them just retail?
Only Eccotique has the full spa
Okay,
experience.
got it. Zenkai is retail
And salon.
and salon.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, that's so. I think it's really neat to see how it did kind of organically grow, but also you would have had some really strategic intention behind it.
We did, and it worked out. I mean, I know a lot of people today. I mean, if you have that strategic intention, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was one of the lucky ones for sure.
Yeah.
And
Because I can't, like, how many years that's been? 23 years.
Yes.
How many times did you have to swerve from what you maybe thought you were going to do to what you actually had to do?
yeah, lots. Because
Changes all the time.
changes all the time, because at the time that we started Zenkai officially, we have these orange stickers on our product, and it's called ethical pricing. And so when my dad had started his salon in 84, in 86, he kind of made a change and wondered, why isn't professional hair care selling on the salon shelves, but on London Drugs, at London Drugs, it flies off. So he came up with this idea about ethical pricing, where professional hair care products can be accessible. It doesn't have to be like Shaper Plus hairspray doesn't have to be $24 or $25 to buy. It can be less than 20. And he figured out a formula where he was just going to take less margin, but hopefully work on the volume. So when we started Zenkai, if you can believe it, it was tough, because our vendors didn't really like us too much, because we were selling product at less and selling a lot of it. So it was kind of like a love-hate relationship. They loved us because we were buying so much product, but then they didn't like us because we were putting it out there at, they thought, too cheap at that time. But I mean,
I like the term ethical pricing, though. Like,
Yeah.
that's such an understandable concept. And I think in business, one of the most frustrating things as an entrepreneur is that people think prices are so negotiable,
yes.
right?
Or taxes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What about no tax today?
But it's just not.
Like, I actually legally have to pay
Yeah,
tax as a
exactly.
business,
Like,
but
I really have
it's a
to
great
pay your
offer.
tax. So thank you for asking about no tax.
But when you put the word ethical in front of it, I'm not arguing with that.
No. And that's the thing. I remember this young guy came in, and it was our downtown Zenkai store when we first opened on Granville. And it was, you know, across from, I guess, oh my gosh, what was Eaton's? Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Not
Eaton's.
Eaton's.
I
but
remember
maybe
Eaton's.
Sears. Maybe Sears
Yeah.
took over, and we were right across. We had just opened in early 2000. And he's like, man, what does ethical pricing mean? And we just looked at him and we're like, it means we're not ripping you off. Because really, that's exactly what it means. I mean, we're fortunate enough that we can buy it in bulk, but really anybody as a company can make a choice to make a lesser margin if they want to. It's just a matter of choice.
But I think it has a psychological effect of building trust with your customers.
Yeah, exactly. It did.
You must have a lot of repeat customers, I would imagine,
Tons,
based on
yes.
how you've built your, even ethical pricing is the
Yes.
first step, but what you've done is so unique in the landscape that you would have so much repeat business.
We do. We have a really good core base of clients, and that keep coming to us. It's more than a loyalty program. You know, it's a confidence that they know that, you know, if they buy something, that it's the best quality and at the best price. And I mean, also guest service is so important, because in this day and age, I'm sure you guys know, you just walk around in customer service, it feels like it's like secondary these days. And I mean, when I was growing up and working at the front desk of my
primary.
own place, it was like customers were gold. I mean, you just never ignored people or just did the whole snooty thing.
One of the things I realized really early on is it's easier to keep a customer than to get a new one.
Absolutely.
So you would
Yes.
go above and beyond to
For
keep
sure.
any customer.
Yeah, it's hard enough to get new ones. Why would you lose the ones you have?
Exactly.
Makes
And
no
that
sense.
customer's value over the lifetime is huge. To
Huge.
lose that one is like
Exactly.
such a
Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah.
It's really painful.
So I went to the next question that I know Leah's going to ask. I feel like I need to give a backstory on why I asked this question, because it's something I really related to. I went to that Rise conference last week, and I was honored to meet and hear one of the girls that started Blow blow dry bar.
Yeah.
So Devin, who's from Vancouver, and she spoke about the beginner's mindset. And I was so inspired, and I was like, that's what it is. Because I think as an entrepreneur, it's hard to vocalize exactly what it is that separates different people in business. But I think that's one of them is always, and you just said you had some great words of advice from your dad, but it's something that's so important to have.
Yes, I agree.
How do you think you practice this?
I think just having that as a mindset, like just reminding yourself of that all the time. Like when you walk in, I mean, I tell our team that all the time. Like I'll walk into a store and just like I'd never walked in there before, you know, tell me what you guys did this week. What was the most popular product? I mean, they probably think, oh my God, she's asking us this again. We saw her a couple months ago and she's asking it again. But it's just, yeah, I just constantly ask the same thing. I look around like I haven't been in there before. Like, how does it look from the outside? How does our signage look? Is it looking great? Is it looking messy? And just asking a lot of questions and just trying to figure out what clients want. Or when I see somebody walk in and out of our store, people laugh because my dad also used to do this. I learned a ton from him. If somebody walks in and out of the store with nothing, I usually will ask them, or I'll approach them in the mall after they leave. Like, is there something that you were looking for? And I'll introduce myself and what did you find in our store when you walked in and why did you leave right away? Was there a reason for it? And people are taken back. I mean, it's such a simple question, but so many times people walk in and out of the store and why? Like why? It's amazing some of the things
Is
I've
it
found
something
out.
we did?
Yeah, and it is. It ranges. I've found out so much stuff randomly just from asking people that come in and out.
I think that objectivity is hard to come by though, because sometimes you get this confidence
You do.
about the way you do business, or I mean, rightfully so. Like there's a lot of things I'm very proud of the way I've gone about my business, but it doesn't mean it will last forever, and it doesn't mean that you won't need to change it one day.
Exactly, and I think that's the big difference between ego and confidence, right? So it's a very fine line, and if that ego takes over from your confidence, I feel like that's a recipe for disaster, because it's just an ego can be detrimental to anything because it doesn't let you believe that you're
I agree.
anything wrong or could do anything better, or you know, you're just amazing. When you have an ego, no matter what you do, it's like smells fantastic. And so I think that's the big difference, to your point, having that confidence, but also knowing the landscape is changing so rapidly that no matter what your confidence is or where you sit today, you might not be there next year.
And yeah, the things that were working even yesterday may not be working today. And how many times has feedback come to you and you're like, oh, we've been doing it this way the whole time, but we actually need to move the shampoo. Or whatever.
I mean, I was I was watching Business News Network, which I watch every morning, but it's amazing on the statistics. Since January of this year, 476 retail stores have closed.
Really?
And they're talking about 2 million square feet of retail space that will be closing by the end of the year. So
I've heard this
what
year
does
is
that
rough.
mean for our future? Like, where do you go from here? What does that mean for malls? Like, what are they going to do? How are they going to adapt? How is this whole
Amazon
real
shipping
estate?
facilities?
Yeah, exactly. Metrotown shall be the new Amazon shipping facility.
We discuss this a lot though. Like, how is it changing? Because as an entrepreneur, you want to be on the forefront. You can't deny that it's a changing landscape. It is.
Yes.
That's where that customer feedback is so invaluable,
so too.
because asking your customers directly, what are we doing right, and what do you want to see different? Like, what do you want?
Yes.
We can guess a million different ways, but having that direct feedback is what helps you make those swerves as you need to.
It doesn't really matter what we think as entrepreneurs. The only thing that matters is what our customers think.
Exactly. Because if you're thinking you're projecting something that you're not, I mean, it's your customer's reality, so it has to be yours. I mean, if you ignore their reality, then you've ignored the point.
But there's an emotional attachment there.
Of course.
For a lot of business owners.
Oh, I know. Like I know when my dad had to close like his first salon because they were tearing down the mall in Cloverdale. I mean, it was his first salon in '84 and he had to close. It's emotional because you get emotionally attached to your business, and at the same time you do have to make some tough business decisions and choices sometimes that, you know, allow you to make those certain changes, or have to make those certain changes, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I relate to that. I mean, we closed our Coquitlam Center store in the fall, but that was our decision.
Yeah.
Like I was really empowered by that decision. And I think it could have been, people will ask, oh, what happened?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not naive to the fact that the retail landscape is changing. I say it all the time. I'm constantly thinking about it.
Yes.
But I looked at that as an opportunity.
Yes.
An opportunity to, that was my decision. There was an opportunity to get liquidity while there still was liquidity to be had. And to proceed other things that we're doing.
Yeah. And to
Pursue.
not sign these contracts for 5 years that you can't get out of.
I'm
you know?
not exactly.
Yeah, so it's interesting because in my business, you know, some of the stylists, you know, they want to go and start their own business or you know, do something else, which I absolutely encourage. But so many people in the past have left, not as many now, to open salons, and then I hear about them after having to mortgage their houses or their condos because they couldn't pay the rent. And it's something I always say, you guys, before you go, like, let's talk about it, because be careful what contracts you sign. You don't know how to negotiate contracts. Trust me, I've made mistakes over the years, but it's like, read the book, Leasing for Dummies. I don't know, do something, ask me a question. Like, I'm here to help. So it's just, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough learning curve. And I think there's not as much forgiveness right now as there was when I was starting. Like, there was a little bit more forgiveness back then because retail was at its peak. I mean, we were selling stuff off that you didn't even have to sell it. It was just flying. Whereas now there has to be a purpose, and what's your Instagram page, and what does it look like, and what does it do, and what's the packaging like? I mean, there's just a little bit more to it, I guess.
I think you nailed it. People want a purpose behind
Exactly.
it. They're not going to walk into a store or a salon or anything and buy anything if they don't buy into the concept and what that brand's about.
Exactly.
If they don't connect with something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why we, you know, with Eccotique and Zenkai, we've been doing Daymaker Day for, I think, 16 years now. So it's one of the things that we do to give back, and, you know, going to Children's Hospital and Easter Seals and Ronald McDonald and just, you know, so many more. I can't even think of all the names.
I
now.
was
They
reading
slip
some
my
of them on the
mind.
website.
Oh my
There's a
gosh,
list of them there on
Sunny
your
Hill and
about
oh my
page.
gosh. So yeah, we go and just take care of the kids and the caregivers and the parents and just give them free haircuts and massages, and it's so rewarding to go. And even Ronald McDonald House will go and cook their dinners. Like, it's such a fun team building experience too. It's just great to give back. It's important to give back.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
wonderful.
amazing.
I have a question on the aesthetic front with Eccotique. Has it been difficult with all the laser machines out now, like laser hair removal and skin tightening, to stay on top of that? Because I've seen that has grown so much in the last 5-10 years, and it changes so much every year.
For sure.
Because I know those machines are not cheap.
They're not cheap. So we do laser hair removal in some of our Eccotiques, but we don't do anything else laser related. So Eccotique was always kind of built on the fact to do it as naturally as possible. And there is a lot of products out there, like even our facials. It's interesting because some of the peels and facials that we do with Dermalogica, I feel like you get just as good results as some other, you know, thing that's happening at another spa. So it just depends what you're looking for, but you have to stay true to what you do, but then also add in some of the things that are up and coming right now. So it's constantly a balancing act, honestly, because if you go medical, then, you know, you change your whole, I feel like you change your whole feel. I don't know.
There is definitely a different feel between medical aesthetic.
A Medi Spa.
Yeah, a Medi Spa is just like a doctor's office, I feel, and our spas do not feel like that. So it's like, how do you marry the two? How do you do a little bit of that? And we're not even Medi at all. But
I think the chemical peels is a good marriage between that, for sure.
Exactly. It gives the good results, but it's also about taking care of your skin on a regular basis.
100%.
It's not just about going and getting a laser facial. That's great, but it's also, do you get regular facials? Do you use good skin products? I mean, it's a constant.
You can go and get a laser facial or a chemical peel once a month or once every 2 months, but if you're not doing the at-home care, you're pretty much throwing your money away. Like,
It's a waste
it
of
starts
money.
with what you're doing on a
Absolutely.
daily basis.
I always say protect your investment. Like, if you're going to spend that kind of money doing that on your face, at least protect it. I mean, you wouldn't go and get your hair colored and then start swimming in a pool full of chlorine every day until, you know, your roots grow in. Like, I mean, unless you, of course, you were a swimmer or something for, just protect what you're paying money for and take care of it, right?
Wear sunscreen.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say
Exactly.
that.
I'm a big believer in wearing sunscreen. Oh, wow. They
Milajne,
laugh
you
at
have
me.
some exciting things coming up. Can you share a couple of them with us?
Well, we have some really fun stuff coming out, like lots of new products launching right now. I mean, I think the Kerastase launch is pretty huge. The Blonde Absolute. So it's 5 new products to take care of blonde hair.
Ooh.
So
That's
coming.
always
more.
key.
Oh,
Blondes are
yes.
endlessly needing ways to keep their blonde.
Crazy. It's like little teasers all over Instagram. I just got it yesterday to our office, so I'm super excited to try it. I haven't tried it yet, but I heard it's amazing from our rep, so that's really super exciting. And what else? Olaplex number 6 Bond Smoother is coming in, which I think we've pre-sold a bunch online already because it's not in yet. So it's a Bond Smoother, so cuts down the frizz when you're blow drying, and I have massive frizzy hair.
I need all of
Massive.
this.
Yeah, I need that for
Yeah,
sure.
it's just like a poof. I always joke about Monica on Friends, that episode when she
Oh,
goes
yeah.
to
Yes.
Mexico, because I feel like that's what I look like all the time. Like if I didn't get keratin smoothing, I would look like that all the time when I got out of the shower. And it doesn't look like it, but it's amazing what your hair can do when it's drying naturally. It's scary.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, those are some of the new things. And then just on our front, like corporately, we're looking at making boxes. I know I talked to Donnie about doing some collabs, but we're going to be doing our own boxes where you can address a hair concern. Rather than, there's a lot of beauty products out there on the market that are boxes, but they're not addressing a concern. They're just addressing more the price, like the value that you get in the box. Whereas we're going to go more on the wave of addressing a concern. So if you have really fine frizzy hair, this is all the products you need.
Oh, that's
in this
amazing.
box. And so we're also going to be coming out with a Blonde Life box. So it'll have
Oh,
all
that's
the
great.
products that you need.
I
to
need
take
both of those
care blonde
boxes.
hair.
I need
Exactly.
fine hair and the
I
blonde
have
box.
fine hair and blonde hair. So this is the thing. I feel like 70% of people out there have this issue because everybody I talk to says the same thing.
Are you thinking more along the lines of like sample boxes or like full size?
Full size boxes.
I love that.
At a value for sure, but I think
Because I
more
only
of
want the ethical pricing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we always do ethical pricing, but more solution based
Yeah.
for sure.
I love that. I'm so excited to see these things come out. And before we close, we'd love to ask our guests for some advice. Can you share with us maybe a piece of advice or a mantra that you're living your life by?
Well, I just read this thing just actually this morning that I thought was amazing because I had something else and I have to pull it up to make sure I don't screw it up because I'm one of those people that'll say a joke and then totally screw up
You'll
the
mess up the
punchline.
punch.
I'll totally screw up the punchline.
I'm that person too. I'm like, wait, it'll come to me.
Yeah,
and then it
exactly.
doesn't.
And then you screw it up or you say the punchline by accident.
No one laughs.
So I
Yeah.
saw it this morning and it just really hit me. So this is how it goes. It says, be easy to love, hard to break, and impossible to forget. And I thought that was
I love
really,
that.
really cool. Yeah.
That's good. I like
Spoke
that.
to me.
That's really good.
Where can all of our listeners find you online?
So for Eccotique, it's eccotique.com, ECCOTIQUE.com, and Zenkai is zenkai.com, ZENNKAI.com.
And there's all of your social media links on your
Yes.
websites
Yeah,
also. So
there is.
we'll post links to that everywhere for everybody.
Amazing.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here,
so much
Milajne.
for joining
having
us.
me. Thank you for having me, guys. It was so fun.
Thank you.
And thank you in advance for the ethical pricing on the blonde and fine box.
That's right.
Exactly, right?
Can't wait.
Okay, well, everybody, remember to also follow us on social at Style for the Priv and at Priv Talks Podcast. Feel free to pop over wherever you listen to your podcast and rate us and leave us a review. You can shop on our website with the code Priv Talks for 20% off. And then we're going to be posting some amazing content in the Facebook group, including a $20 off coupon to Spud.
Ooh.
And some other exciting things too. So head over there and join us there.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.